2018 was quite a memorable year for gaming. Even though I haven't played as much as I normally do this year, I will go by the limited number of games I had on my shortlist. And the rules apply as always. First, these are actual games, not stories or any expansion packs whatsoever. But as always, there's no re-releases, remasters, or ports whatsoever. Only brand spanking new games we've seen this year in North America. In addition to this, I will also include my most anticipated games for 2019. However, complete remakes of old classic titles will actually be considered. And yes, there's actually a difference between re-releases and remasters and remakes. And if you really like the content of this video, please make sure you hit the subscribe button below. It works really well. And so let's back, because these are my top 10 picks of the very best games of 2018.
Now, I thought this was a movie-based game based on one of the Spider-Man movies. And I typically had very low expectations of this game, but I was dead wrong. This is an entirely different canon in Spider-Man's own universe, and you get to have a lot of fun swinging around the cities, not delivering pizza this time, thank God, and fighting new villains and all your superpowers all taken to a whole new level. That's why I'm picking Spider-Man as number 10.
The lucky few who rode the storm out struggled to survive.
You're getting on a roll now, Square. This is my first entry into the Dragon Quest game, and this is really a throwback to classic turn-based role-playing games. I love the return of strategy and controlling each individual character. Lovely cel-shaded anime graphics. Love the cartoon style. That's been missing from a lot of photorealistic Final Fantasy games recently. The story's alright and can get confusing though, but it's the open world and the colorful cast of characters and gaining new abilities that stands out. And if this isn't the poster child of the new renaissance of Japanese role-playing games, this is it!
Artemis of the Wild Land, mistress of animals.
Now, I really like ancient Greece. Assassin's Creed is wonderful, and Assassin's Creed Odyssey is essentially more improvement comparable to Origins last year. Odyssey really takes you into a lot of side stories involving Greek mythology and many epic poems like the Trojan Wars and the Odyssey, hence the name. But there's one sore flaw right here, is that it was outshadowed by other games this year, and it's not quite as polished as Origins. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, nonetheless, sits at number 8. Wow. Just wow. I love role-playing games, and Monster Hunter is definitely one that I love. I enjoy the quests, the story, and the engaging gameplay that you can actually partake in, and this is my first Monster Hunter game, and I can really see this taking off here. I just love tackling down this untamed wilderness of a bunch of monsters, including dinosaurs. Freaking dinosaurs! What more could you ask? I've only played just a little bit, but it is enough to warrant me a number 7 spot on the list. Now, indie titles really have a lot of charm, and they can add a lot of challenge. And Dead Cells is one of these games. It's inspired by Binding of Isaac as well as Meat Boy with the same level of difficulty. Playing as a corpse in a 2D side-scrolling platform while you try not to fall apart is really fun to begin with, and frustratingly difficult. But the frustration really pays off if you persist, and that's what adds to the joy.
3, 2, 1, go!
Come on, it's obvious.
For 3 years, I have been hiding here amid the detritus of the heretic kingdoms.
Now, I was really skeptical on this. I thought this was about to be a Diablo wannabe. But I was wrong. Shadows Awakening is a very beautifully done game. It's a typical role-playing game where you get to go on a bunch of quests in very beautifully rendered environments. I like the way they implemented real-time tactical combat, similar to Diablo. I just love the challenge that they throw at you. And I like how you get to choose from 3 different heroes to choose with their own little path. That could be choosing your own adventure right here. Love the dark fantasy element. I would love for this saga to continue.
Jonah, I found a dagger. There's an inscription.
Oh, and the shadow keeps getting bigger. Shadow of the Tomb Raider is a very well-crafted finale to a very dark origin story of Lara Croft. I really love the rendering and lighting of the jungle and how the water effects are, and my god, I love the new gameplay mechanics of camouflaging in mud and creeping up on enemies. And the weapons and crafting system is just as good as ever. I cannot wait for a real adventure to begin.
Yes, I'll be right there.
Now we go back to good old classic JRPGs. Octopath Traveler is really a gem for its time, and I really loved the story that they crafted in here, and the turn-based combat with each of your party members. Not to mention the added voice acting that really engages the story. I love strategy games, and this is a turn-based game really going back to the roots of the classic Final Fantasy games. Now, I'm saying Dragon Quest XI was doing it, but this is taking it to a whole new level. Now, before we get to number 1, let's take a look at the most anticipated games of 2019 that I have picked.
Bastards! I didn't do nothing! Ah! Damn fool!
And the number 1 game of 2018 is Red Dead Redemption 2. I love this sequel to the Western open world game. Now, I love Westerns because I'm from Texas, honey. I like to get up on my horse, run around, rob towns, and fulfill missions and hunt game gathering. And hang out at the good old saloon. Way late in the 1900s, past the time of the Old West, which makes you a better outlaw than ever. Why Red Dead Redemption 2 deserves a number 1 spot.
And this concludes this video, so really look forward to a lot of games in 2019, and look forward to a lot of content coming this year on my channel. As well as the Marlyo Media website that you can check out. And this is Marlyonama, signing off.